It was a cold and silent night in a small village in Japan. Sadako Yamamura walked alone along the riverbank, her bare feet barely making a sound on the damp earth. The sky was overcast, and only the sound of running water filled the void around her. Since she was a child, Sadako had known there was something different about her, something that even frightened her own mother, Shizuko Yamamura. Shizuko, a woman with unusual psychic abilities, had gained notoriety across the country by demonstrating her powers in public. She could predict disasters and move objects without touching them. But what should have been a gift quickly became a burden. During a presentation in Tokyo, Shizuko was ridiculed. The scientists who had supported her research called her a fraud. Sadako, still a child, watched the scene of humiliation with tears in her eyes, hiding behind a curtain. She never forgot the anger in her mother's eyes. As she grew older, Sadako began to manifest abilities beyond what Shizuko could achieve. But these abilities came at a price. People around her began to disappear, fall ill, or lose their sanity. It was as if Sadako's very presence carried a malignant energy. In her village, whispers about her spread. She's not normal, they said. Something dark follows her. Once as a teenager, Sadako disappeared for 2 entire days. When she was found, she was in a dense forest near an abandoned shrine. Her eyes looked different, deeper, and darker. She refused to say what had happened, but villagers reported seeing strange lights in the forest that night. After that, the supernatural manifestations around her intensified. The village animals avoided her presence, and neighbors began locking their doors as soon as night fell. The tragedy that would seal Sadako's fate occurred years later on an isolated island. A scientist obsessed with the psychic powers of the Yamamura family convinced Sadako to participate in an experiment. He took her to a remote location, promising to help her understand her abilities. But what Sadako didn't know was that he feared her power and was determined to end it. During a heated argument, the scientist pushed Sadako into a deep, dark well. She tried to climb the stone walls, screaming for help, but no one came. Her screams echoed until they stopped, as the icy water at the bottom swallowed her. The well, surrounded by gnarled trees and cloaked in silence, became a place avoided by all. But it was not just a grave, it was also a portal. Sadako's hatred, combined with the psychic energy coursing through her veins, transformed the site into a convergence point for the supernatural. Those who passed nearby reported hearing whispers and feeling an intense cold, even on the hottest days. Decades later, something inexplicable began to happen. A VHS tape mysteriously appeared, containing disturbing images. A ring of light, a well shrouded in shadows, and finally, the piercing gaze of a woman who seemed to stare directly at the viewer. The content was fragmented and surreal, as if the images were taken from a collective nightmare. After the video ended, viewers would receive a phone call. On the other end of the line, a cold, whispering voice would say, "Only 7 days." Reiko Asakawa, an investigative journalist, found the tape while investigating the death of her niece and her friends, all victims of the mysterious curse. Determined to uncover the truth, Reiko watched the video. In the days that followed, strange events began to occur. Shadows that seemed to move on their own, electronic devices turning on without reason, and visions of a woman with long hair covering her face. One night, while reviewing notes in her home, Reiko heard footsteps coming from upstairs. Her heart raced. She was alone. Desperate, Reiko began to investigate Sadako's past. With every discovery, more questions arose. She found accounts of people who had died mysteriously after visiting the island where the well was located. An old fisherman's diary mentioned a girl with eyes that saw the soul, and a crude drawing of the well appeared in its pages, always surrounded by disconnected and scribbled phrases. The search led Reiko to the well where Sadako had been murdered. With the help of her ex-husband, she descended to the bottom and found the young woman's bones. Reiko believed that by giving Sadako a proper burial, the curse would be broken. But she was wrong. Sadako did not want peace. She wanted revenge. Even after the body was removed from the well, the tape continued to spread the curse. Reiko realized that the only way to save herself and her son was to pass the tape on, condemning someone else. Sadako's story is a dark reminder that hatred and pain can transcend even death. Her curse was not just about death, it was about perpetuating the cycle of suffering. The well, the video, the whispers, all were part of her eternal vengeance. And so the cursed video continued to spread, bringing terror to those who dared to watch. Each new victim became another link in the unbreakable chain of Sadako's fury, ensuring that her story would never be forgotten. If you enjoyed this story, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and check out the next video now playing on your screen. Until next time, and good luck sleeping tonight.